Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel. This movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Last week, we chatted with writer Todd Farmer, who's somebody that kind of is woven throughout this podcast. He was the writer of Jason X. He worked with our buddy that Patrick last year on a few flicks, so we were able to talk a little bit about him way back then. And then we finally got a chance to chat with him. Real cool. His journey from Kentucky to Hollywood, and then boom. And now he's living in a castle in Portugal. Very cool. The fact that we were able to talk a little bit about Major Payne, because that was kind of the connection. His buddy in college went to high school with the writer of Major Payne, and who actually is crazy that the guy who wrote Major Payne also wrote Jason Goes to Hell. Maybe that there's a reason for that. But what our chat did give us Messengers 2, the Scarecrow, which it's so interesting because the first Messengers was, because I never heard of it. It was directed by, the guy who, Sam Raimi directed it. And it starred Kristen Stewart. Maybe that was like just before Twilight hit, around like 2006. And this one, another guy, just before he like hit it big again from Boondock Saints. What's his name? Daryl's his name on Walking Dead.
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. So yeah, Scarecrows too. And before I say anything about this movie, that I can't believe some of the parts of it. Really, there's a couple of parts in this movie. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. But I can't say anything until I introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. This is like the longest because we couldn't connect last week, and so we took a little week off. So this is like the longest I think we've done that I've watched the movie till, because we were trying to be good and be ahead of it. We're like, you know what, let's watch this movie a week early. Then I was like, you know what, let's just do it next week. And then it was next week. But I don't think I can forget about a lot of these parts of this movie because it was insane. This was an insane movie.
So this movie, first of all, I didn't see the first Messengers, but I have a feeling this really has nothing to do with the first one.
Yeah,
at all.
No, nothing at all.
And I feel like we've covered a lot of movies like that they're in the journey of sequels, but have nothing to do with. I mean, I thought this was part of the Scarecrow, because there's about 15 Scarecrow movies.
So you know, it's funny. There is that many. I have never seen one, and it's funny. The one, there's ones that are like the horror ones, and then R.I.P. Gene Hackman, who just passed away.
Yep,
he was in one called Scarecrow.
I know.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. So I don't know, this would fit better in that, that world. But, this movie, it's not a bad movie, right? I mean, it's got some good scenes.
It does.
I do like Norman Reedus. I think he's a great actor. I do like his character, and he definitely looks like he's fresh off of Boondock Saints, right? He has that look, like a young look. But I'll tell you, this movie takes a turn towards the end that I didn't expect. Like I think I was faked out in this movie multiple times, of the direction I thought the movie was going in, and it turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, again, not just saying this because we just interviewed him, but Todd, like, the writing of this movie is really, it's so interesting. It had some twists. It's kind of different than the other movies that he's written. So. Yeah, well, let's just not.
Like I said, this I normally would really hate a movie like this, and I didn't. I didn't like some parts of it, but it's a different type of movie. And so here's one question I have right off the bat. Is two things. One, I've never seen a Scarecrow look like that. Right? I mean, I've seen Scarecrows. This was the creepiest. It looked like a burnt, like, human. Like it just, like, I don't know what, like, it looked awful. Like, so, like, anytime I've seen a farm with a Scarecrow, they're usually kind of like, you're just plain more straw. I didn't even see straw hanging out of it. Like, it wasn't like,
no.
Okay. That's
And the
one.
reveal of it, you know
Oh,
what it was? So the reveal of it was silly because it made it seem like it was a tiny closet, right?
I was not again the real of it. I was I mean I we'll get to that part. Here's my other big question, and this has to do with a lot of movies, and this happens all the time. How come when strange things happen, the one person never tells anybody what's going on? You know, like throughout this movie, him and his wife, which let me tell you something, that wife was trying her hardest to do everything for this guy, but he always kept saying is something's going on, I'll tell you soon enough or something. Why not tell her right off the bat?
Yeah, I
Like
know.
and that would have solved a lot of issues. And this happens in all the movies. Like why do people keep like if I saw something that was abnormal, like in my real life, I'm immediately telling somebody. Like I'm
Yeah.
not like there's no reason to hide it. Like why was he hiding it the entire time? It didn't make sense. But okay.
And why was she with him? Like, look, we'll
Well,
discuss
he
many of the reasons why
wait.
she should have left him, and she was actively trying to leave him.
He does question that though. He does say you shouldn't be with me. You know, you could have been with all these other people. I'm a loser kind of thing. But here's another thing. You know, they always say, make cornfields like always scary. Why do people go in them all the time? Like this,
I don't know.
I mean, multiple people go inside this corn. First of all, is his job? So he's a corn farmer. Is that all he is?
He's a corn farmer, and he does nothing in the fields.
Nothing. But that's all he does because all he works on is corn. He sells corn. Like that's his job. So
Yeah.
if there's no corn, he makes no money.
And we learned a lot about corn in the movie because when he was talking to Richard Reel, who we'll introduce in a little bit, he's like, oh, no. It's when he's talking to his wife. He goes, I have two choices. I could sell the crop now and make half, or I can let it continue to grow. Oh, no, if I can like take down what's still there, viable, because of the crows, because the crows were eating at it. And it was just like, oh, my, this is something, man.
But is there just a corn farmer? Like, don't all farmers have corn, milk with cows, eggs with there's just corn farmers?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, dude, you
sure
drive
about
out
that?
by me? Yeah. What you
Okay,
drive out by
wait.
me? You can go past one farm that is just corn.
How do you know he doesn't have chickens and cows in the back?
Oh, you want somebody super strict? Like this is all I do?
No, I want someone that has other. I want a real farmer. I don't think there's a corn farmer out there.
They call themselves
corn.
kern farmers. I'm a kern farmer.
Okay, again, if that corn, well, first of all, corn doesn't grow year round. So what does he do in the rest of the year when there's no corn? If he doesn't have cows and chickens,
turn the soil over. That's all he can do.
Okay, I don't think there's such a thing as just the corn. I think all farmers do corn, pigs, goats. They have it all. It's not just corn.
I'm sure they do pigs and goats.
do pigs.
do pigs. But no, it was just so silly that whole thing that it was like. But again, obviously that's the whole point. It's a scarecrow. You need the crows to get there. But so we open up in the movie and we see this like pretty attractive blonde going through the cornfields again. I would never go into them. It's a nightmare. But you see nothing. You just like hear the sickle. You see it getting dragged on the ground, and then she dies. We hear what didn't make sense to me, and I don't know if it was another character's voice later. Remember when we hear her voice at this point? Hey,
yeah.
And then she gets the sickle. Was that whose voice is that?
I don't know, because first of all, if what killed her is what we see at the end of the movie, that thing should not be out there because he's still behind closed doors.
Here's the only thing I thought of, but just the way she was dressed, to me, it doesn't make sense. Richard Reilly's hot blonde girlfriend.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like her. It really did. But in my head, I'm just like, that still doesn't make sense because the way they made it sound was there from hundreds of years ago.
100%. And I was misled by them. And then I thought they were just a figment of his mind later on. Like the way they do that. And the little girl that you see in the beginning and at the end. What is she? Like,
Yeah.
what did she have to do with the movie?
Well, she's like the original person. I think that was Richard Reilly's grandfather.
Okay, but she does nothing in the movie though. You just see her in the cornfield at one point, and then you see her at the end of the movie. But like, there's no explanation, no, of what she's doing there, why she's still there, or is she a ghost, or like.
Well, she's
she ends
definitely a ghost because she's like, oh no, she's the Scarecrow's kid. Her dad became the Scarecrow. Don't you remember in that story?
No, her
Yeah.
dad become. I
Her
did
dad
not get
becomes
that.
the Scarecrow because she gets killed by her dad in the cornfields, like as a spirit later, and then we see her at the very end carrying the dad's body into the what we thought was a shallow closet was a gigantic room.
Wait a second. Who told her this story?
I think it was Richard Reel.
I did not hear that story at all.
Yeah, it was either Richard Reel or the deputy cop at the last scene in the movie.
Okay. Well, that changes a lot of things because I did not know that at all. So, how did he become a scarecrow? Or why did he become a scarecrow?
I don't know. I think I'm making up that
okay.
he became a scarecrow. But no,
wait,
but her dad.
You just lied. You just lied.
I feel like I don't know why I'm thinking there is a scene that talks about that, but the little girl does mention that. No, because that's her dad. I'm pretty sure that's her dad.
Her dad is the scarecrow. I don't
or he
think
becomes
so.
it. I don't know. Egan, I'm sure Egan's
Oh,
listening. He
please,
watched,
because
I
now
wonder
you
if he did see this.
that does change. It still doesn't make sense because they don't explain it. I wonder, is there a scarecrow in the first movie?
No, the first one's just called Messengers, and this one's called just Messenger Scarecrows. So this is like
So the scarecrow is a messenger?
the Scarecrow. Yeah, I guess this is the message. I wonder what the first messenger is. Maybe an evil angel.
Maybe the little girl. Was she in the first movie?
That'd be the connection. Just that.
Because now we're opening up. Like, I don't understand, because again, in the beginning, the killing in the beginning is done by the reveal at the end of the movie, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that reveal is not found yet by Norman Reedus. It's locked away.
Oh yeah, no, I know. That's the only thing I was thinking, that you're talking about the kill at the beginning. I thought the kill at the beginning was a way flashback to when another person was using the Scarecrow.
But doesn't he find the body?
Richard Reel.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't find the body.
Oh,
he does have some flashback with the body. No. There's nothing with the body. Is something we see, and then we get the credits, and then we see Reedus in a suit. Yeah, and he's like working on the sprinkler.
So wait a second.
Yeah.
So there's a kill in the beginning of the movie. We don't know if it's a flashback or not. And then what happens to that girl? Like what's the point of that kill?
I don't want to watch it again, but the blonde, it kind of looks like
so the girl.
But it kind of looks like later. Richard Reel's girl.
Yeah, they died later on, though. Or are they a figment in his mind? I
you reveal the twist. That is the twist. They don't exist.
I don't know about that.
No, when the wife comes in and he says, I'm talking to the neighbors and they're not there, and she sees the cop shot on the ground or hurt on the ground.
Yeah, but But they're killed later on. You see them they're dead later on.
Yeah, they're dead, but they're not dead to the public. They're spirit, because he can see the spirit because he gave in to the Scarecrow.
No.
Yes.
All right. Did I watch the part 3?
No, that doesn't make sense. You watched Norman Reedus.
They were. So you're telling me all those conversations he had with the guy, he wasn't there?
He wasn't there at all. Yeah. He was not there. He was talking to himself. Did you ever see anybody else see him or talk to him?
Well, I didn't. He did. Well, okay. So, first of all, I thought Norman Reedus was doing. Okay, you know what? This movie is just so. We need to jump around. So I thought Norman Reedus was doing the killing.
Oh, really?
That's what they made it look like. Like,
Yeah,
because
kind of. Yeah.
he was talking to ghosts. He was kind of like acting weird and everything else. So I thought he was, but then it's okay. Okay. All right. So if they were not real and he goes there to that abandoned trailer
Mm-hmm.
and he's with the guy's wife,
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me he was just spending all that time alone?
He found a hole in the cushion. That's the only thing that could happen,
I don't think so.
which is wild.
No, that's not. There's something missing here. That doesn't make sense at all.
And then Richard Reel, like, remember, because he fell asleep there. So then after getting in an argument with his wife, which is like argument number 4 or 5, he's going to show up and the mom is like, the daughter's like, I'm going to take him for a walk. The brother, and then they start fighting. And then Richard Reel comes over like minutes later.
I know.
And it's like, hey, how you doing? And it's like, oh, he knows.
But see, I thought that the whole time, but then they show their dead bodies later on, and that
Yeah, I
threw me
think
off.
just to see that they can battle the Scarecrow, the spirit too, because they were kind of like, yeah.
All right, I think that's off. All right, okay. Let me ask you this then, and we find this in the beginning. What does the son know about the Scarecrow?
The son? What does he know about the Scarecrow?
He says, "Dad." He just says, "Take it down." It's not. No, he knew there was some kind of evil presence in that.
Oh,
Scarecrow.
He probably just had a feel. Yeah. That's the way they let it get linger and then get larger towards the end. But at the beginning, it was just, Dad, take it down. It's scary. If you take it down, I'll learn how to drive the tractor. A lot of tractor talk, and it.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting it to pay off like that at the end, but
yeah,
no. So now the cat's out of the bag, and we talked about that. So now we get like the first interaction, probably the first lines of actual dialogue. The wife they come storming out of church, and she goes next to him and was like, "You're a great dad, and that must count for something." And I'm like, "Oh my god, his farm doesn't have water." Like, that's the craziest part. He's trying to depend on this for like money for his family. He doesn't have water. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how is he surviving just on corn?
Yeah,
and clearly he owes a lot of money to the place he gets the. What was he buying there? Hay?
Oh my god, yeah,
soil?
The fertilizer, probably. Yeah.
Fertilizer, so he owes them a lot of money. So he hasn't had crops in a long time. How are they surviving? on just corn,
yeah. I know. Yeah, because
right.
remember the wife was like, I scrounged up some money for something, or I sold some things. Oh my god, the feed place. How excited he is when he nails the weight.
Oh.
How much is it weigh? 12.33, and it's like, oh no, he got it right. It was like,
can you imagine Home Depot did that?
But I mean, that would be great. But the Scarecrow, you tell me the Scarecrow can help from afar? Like, the other things make sense. Well, not the one. The one does not make sense.
There's a few things.
Really, that's the one that I've been thinking about for the last 2 weeks.
I don't know which one you're talking about, but I'm sure when you bring it up.
We'll get to it. But that's the one, because that doesn't make sense. How does the Scarecrow? How does he help with him guessing the weight of the feed?
But see, this is where it doesn't make sense, because did Norman Reedus then do some of the stuff for the Scarecrow? Does he do some of the killing? Does he get possessed by the Scarecrow? And that's why he acts the way he does. That's why he's able, the Scarecrow's able to help him with the weight.
Maybe.
Because there seems to be too much of a connection of the people that kind of did him wrong and what happens to them all.
No, there definitely is. And I think that was the whole, I think that's what makes no sense. Like, if the Scarecrow wants somebody to, I guess, worship him, I guess, or however this works, wouldn't he be very subtle with what happens? It's a few days in, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening.
Doesn't waste time, but
it does.
I mean, yeah, but I again, I don't know, there's no explanation. Even at the end of the movie, if he was being possessive, the end of the movie doesn't make sense. So okay, what happens at the end of the movie, I was not expecting at all. What we see, I should say, what we see at the end of the movie, I was not expecting.
I know.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you?
I don't know. I was thinking because now we're right at the part like when he finds him.
Yep.
So he has all the dead corn. He goes in there. He finds pulls out like this burlap sheet. Again, when we
Okay.
find that, it is in like a shallow closet. And then
And
later
okay.
when they go into that room, it's like it's insane how big it is in there.
So why does it seem like he's never been in there before?
He's never been in there before. And it seems
Okay,
like
so
this is a family farm,
right.
but it's like, oh no, this isn't. You don't know
Okay.
this room?
Wait, how long has he been there on the farm? Do we know that? Like how many years he's been?
We don't, but I'm saying it makes it seem like it's a family farm, like
Correct,
something they'd
correct.
have for a while.
Right.
He doesn't know what's in his barn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and yeah, so I mean, like, because it wasn't like it was hidden. He pretty much found that spot like in 2 seconds. Like
Yeah.
you know, like it's been there. So I was surprised that like he went in there, like surprised that he was able to find a scarecrow that he even never been in back there. Like, and it's like it's not a small little. It looks like it should be a little like a shed, like a door,
Yeah.
like a crawl space kind of thing. No, this is like a room, like a couple rooms, I think.
It looks like when we see it, I'm like, this is like those rich people. They can afford those like really nice Halloween props. Because I'm like, this is frightening. You think of a scarecrow, you think of
Wizard of
if I
Oz?
only had a brain.
Like,
So
that's
you know
what I said
what? I was
before.
thinking about this because we always send in like a group chat with two of our sequel experts, our horror expert, Chris Egan, our mostly good movie sequel expert, Nick Sperdone. It was just like all these Mickey Mouse horror movies, the Winnie the Pooh. You know, honestly, a really good one would be Wizard of Oz. People get like sent there the same way, and then they have like but
I told you what it's not really a horror, but what's the one I told you about? The Return to Oz is sort of.
yeah.
I mean, again, it is creepy. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I mean, if I remember correctly, it's definitely way more creepy than it was Wizard of Oz. So yeah, you're right though. They should. I'm not surprised that if the way they're going, they're going to be horror Smurf movie, horror. Wizard of Oz. I mean, it's unlimited. So yeah.
It's like a horror Smurf movie with them saying, "I'll get you, Gargamel." The reversal. I guess that's what it'd have to be, right? It's already kind of a horror thing anyway. Gargamel's trying to eat them.
Wait, so you think people are going to want to watch a movie with like 100 Smurfs and just one Gargamel? And that's just...
They've made two of them, but in a horror sense, maybe it'd be a little more enjoyable. But
I was thinking more like like the Smurf, like there's like Killer Smurf, and they start killing off all the Smurfs.
Oh, that's even better.
See?
I wasn't thinking of that. That's good. That would be really good if they did do that.
And you don't
even
know
with
which
like Sesame Street, like Muppets. I know they did that one with like Melissa McCarthy. They had like the mix of it.
Yeah,
but it'd be cool if they had one that was strictly that.
And you don't know which Muppet is the killer.
Like a whodunit?
Yeah, right. So you everybody thinks it's Oscar, because he's the angry one, but it ends up being Ernie because he's just tired of getting beat up by Bert or whatever.
Okay, let's get that in production. Let's agree like that. So this thing's like a Halloween prop. Like it looks professional.
Like I said, it does not look like a scarecrow. I can't and I think a lot of scarecrows don't even have a face. Like it's usually just like
a headless horseman. It's a pumpkin. It looks more like a carved pumpkin.
But it looks like leather. Like it doesn't look like it just looks. And again, maybe if you're like, would a crow know the difference between like a really creepy looking scarecrow and like a regular scarecrow? Like, would a crow like see a regular scarecrow and go, "That's not scary," and then you're like, "But you put this one out there, forget about it." They're like, they're crapping their pants. Like,
so you're telling me in your world, crows know what a scarecrow is, and not just, oh my god, this is a really scary thing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, because most scarecrows I've ever seen look like just fun. They just look like kind of like straw sticking out everywhere. And like I said, this one doesn't even look like it has straw in it. It looks like melted leather. Yeah. That was just it just looked awful. Like, oh.
Well, how do scarecrows even work? Like, you're telling me a crow is near a field. They're just gonna like, oh, I guess I'll keep going. They wouldn't try to land on the thing twice. Like they try to land on it once, it doesn't move. We're good, guys. Come on.
Well, is there more than one scarecrow per cornfield, or is there just one?
The rich farmers.
All right,
because scare family.
It's well, would that work when you have baby scarecrows? Like the crows are like, it's what is that thing gonna do?
Yeah.
But like in movies, you always see like one scarecrow in the first of all, back to Wizard of Oz. Why was the scarecrow look like he was like almost on the road where he was, right? Like he wasn't in the middle. Like at least like I think in The Wiz with Michael Jackson, he was like in the middle of the cornfield.
Yeah. That's smart because you're if you're radius
right.
and you're being a road, you're wasting a lot of corn space.
So does that you just said that. So the radius. So does that mean if you put a scarecrow in the middle of a cornfield, there's like a barrier that like a big circle of where the crows would never go to, but anything outside of that barrier is okay. Like
leave the rest. Yeah. It's not like it's like a one you put it in the ground and like infinite no crows.
Well, do you ever see more than one scarecrow in a movie? It's always one.
I've never seen one in person, and I've driven through parts of this country.
You've never been to a farm? You've never been to a farm?
I've been to a lot of farms. I'm saying they're all by me. I drive to them. We go there all the time. I've never seen a scarecrow in the middle of a field. I've seen the fake cutout dogs that they have on lawns, like so the geese don't poop. But no, never the other.
Well, it's funny you said that. So my job, they have a bunch of wolves that they like the fake ones that they line up and foxes. And like they said, it worked in the beginning until I guess the geese realized they're fake. And now the geese are literally just hanging around right next to them. It doesn't even bother them. So like,
hey Frank, they're pooping on them.
So that's another question. Does like the scarecrow power, and I'm talking about in real life, does the scarecrow power like wear off after like does a scarecrow guarantee for like, all right, if you buy a scarecrow from the store, you have like 90 days with it. And then like crows can start coming after 90 days. Like it starts wearing off.
Or after 90 days, you have to change their outfit. So like, oh man, this guy, he's been not moving for 3 months. I think now we can eat whatever we want. And then they change like a new jacket, put a hat on him. It's like, holy shit, new guy. What? I'm not prepared for a new guy.
See, we never knew there were so many rules with scarecrows.
Yeah.
So it's now, does it only affect crows or does it affect other birds too?
Oof, that's a great question. I've never seen like a blue jay, a scare blue jay. What a dumb name too. It's like, all right, what are we gonna do? What's the purpose of this doll that we found in your room, Cletus? Oh, Scarecrow.
Why is it in Cletus's room?
That's what I mean. He got caught with a mannequin that he made, a corn huskin.
Oh, okay, why a scarecrow? Why not a mannequin? I think a mannequin to a crow would be way creepier.
It would be very creepy, yeah.
Because
take half an arm off and
Because I think I mean, it's hay, right? So is hay supposed to scare the crows? I would think hay would attract the crows. At least a mannequin looks more human.
Yeah, that's true.
How about a mannequin with a fake gun?
Oh, is that the purpose? I never thought of that. So the whole purpose is, hey, I don't want to stand on the fields all day. I want to sit inside and have some lemonade. I'm gonna make something that looks like me. I'm gonna stick it on a pole. That's really? I never thought of it like that. I never.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I never just like thought of that was the process. Like that's how somebody came up with it.
But think about it. You have a mannequin out there with a fake gun. That's not gonna be scary to a crow. Like to me, that would be more efficient if you hung like get a big stick, like how they have the scarecrow. Put a mannequin with a gun there. That like I think
Matrix,
would be scary.
Put the face paint on them, grenades.
Yeah. Okay. See now I think we're talking. That's a business. Get rid of the scarecrows.
Fire a shot every 7 hours, something that's
or
not too
just
loud.
you know what? Have a speaker out there with some sound effects.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all you. Yeah. I think that would work because I don't think scarecrows work.
Well, let's go to Shark Tank.
Okay, there we go.
Oh man, this isn't a scarecrow. This is a scare everything.
Scare people too. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Put in your fields. Put it in front of your businesses. Put it in
see,
front of your home.
I think the problem is, right. I think that's what would be the problem. I think people, would walk into a farmer's store looking for some eggs and they see this thing. You're going to start seeing like the mannequin scare mannequin or scare man, whatever you like, scare man.
Man.
That they're having a scare man, and that would be on everybody's lawn.
Yeah.
So forget farms. That's
Scare Man. That's great. From the makers of Scarecrow, Scare Man.
so stupid.
Oh God, I love that. That's amazing.
All right.
Yeah. So wow, that was a great so anyway, so the oldest kid, they found the scarecrow, and the kid comes out, and the kid's definitely like something's going on, and obviously crazy household to grow up in. They make
Oh
it
my
seem
gosh.
like the girl was like 17 or 18 when they first started dating, and he's a lot older because she's a lot younger. But
Yep.
he has this teddy bear, and he's like like you said before, right away like super freaked out about that. Like why is that here? Where'd you get that?
And he is driving. How old is he in this movie? Like supposed to be?
He's probably like 10, 11, right? Something
And he's
like
driving
that.
a tractor. His father's
What's he
teaching
gonna
him.
hit? What's he gonna hit?
He's gonna knock down the corn. If anything, he's gonna knock down any of the good corn that's there. So
Yeah,
like
right?
like, do you really want him to drive a tractor around when you're trying to I wonder if like what age. So what age do farmers start their young children to start working on the farm?
Oh my God! Probably from as they can walk, as not like probably little jobs here and there, just like we do in our houses, you know.
Okay. No, because this is their full-time job. So like, so if you grew up on a farm, you're basically like you're growing into the company
Yeah, that's true.
firsthand, right? Like you don't have a choice. Like they're starting you in the company, eventually own the company farm, but go. That's your job. Like you're working the farm all the time. That's
Yeah,
awful.
that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad I didn't grow on the farm.
So the kid right away he says like I'll learn how to drive the tractor, but only if you throw away the scarecrow. Like right away he's like I hate this thing. And here's my next notes. I wrote, man, that scarecrow's frightening, and the wife is smoking, and Norman Reedus is jealous. She wants to sell like the junk, and he's getting pissed off about it. But it's like she's doing something.
She really is bending over backwards throughout the whole movie, trying to make things work, trying to make him happy.
Sometimes she gets bent over forwards.
That was a little rough. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like she really he looks like he wants no part of her. Like she's trying, and he's like he's so focused on the corn, and that's it. He neglects his kids, his wife, all for trying to get the corn to grow.
Yeah. And here's what I just wrote. So if he's like, okay, if my kid was scared of something and I still want one, I go, why didn't you just make another scarecrow? He has clothes.
Well,
he has also probably burlap sacks.
But he also did. He almost looked like he didn't even know, like about like the scarecrow. Like is this something like if you're a corn farmer, shouldn't you know about scarecrows right off the bat?
Yeah, that should be like
that right.
in the manual. That's,
corn farming 101.
Yeah.
Corn farming 101 is first thing you do when you're starting a corn farm, get a scarecrow. Like that should be the first thing, So like the fact that he's been dealing with crops that are not growing and he's struggling, and the crows are eating it, and he doesn't know to get a scarecrow. Like he just found the scarecrow. So if he didn't find the scarecrow, the crops would still be dying. So clearly he's not good at his job.
Yeah. He's not good at all. How about he doesn't know how to latch the door? So the next part, so that he starts praying.
I wrote that down.
At this part.
Yeah.
But like the fact that when he gets up, it's open and the crows are eating it. So now that we've kind of let the cat out of the bag for the rest of the movie, like who did that? Did the scarecrow? Did he?
Well, he just put the scarecrow out at that point. Right.
That's what I mean. Did it jump off?
Okay. So first of all, here's two things. So one, he told his son he's not going to use it. and he
Yeah, I
basically
know.
lied to his son, right? So
Not cool.
that's first of all. But so again, let's go back to his talent as a corn farmer. So he clearly doesn't know how to grow the corn because he doesn't know how to stop the crows. He doesn't have the water. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the only corn that he does have that's healthy, which isn't a lot, he leaves the barn door open for crows to
Yeah.
get in and eat those. So he was so upset about it. When you look at that bin, they look like there were maybe 12 pieces of corn in there.
I
Like what was
know.
that? Like what was that going to do anyway? Like how much money was he really going to make on that little bucket that he had of corn?
$2. It's usually like 6 for $1 during the season, but no, I don't think he didn't put the Scarecrow up just yet because this
Not
is
yet.
like when he's thinking about it and it's sitting in the garage. And this is when Richard Reel, which I feel terrible that I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but just one of those all-time
Yep.
character actors. Whether
Yep.
it's him backing out in Office Space and getting
Yep.
hit and getting all the
Yep.
money, or just countless roles. He's so good in everything. And so it's great to see a great character actor in the movie. But then he walks in and he's like, but he kind of bullies Norman.
Okay. Okay.
Because he's like, what?
Well, no, go ahead. Finish what you're saying because what you said earlier doesn't make sense then.
Oh,
So he's
that
not.
he doesn't exist?
So you're saying he's not there. So the guy brings over beer that he's drinking in front of his wife.
I
Later
think
on.
Norman went and got that. It's
No,
it's like a Fight Club scenario that
No
they
way.
didn't want to show us that.
The Scarecrow wasn't out yet. He hasn't even he didn't plant the Scarecrow yet.
But Richard Reel was in the garage when the wife came in, and then he wasn't there. Where'd he go?
The Scarecrow could maybe make things seem like he was. I don't know. I think he was real. He had to be real because again, where'd the beer come from? And Norman Reedus wasn't acting weird yet. Like he was still being himself. So the fact that he showed his wife this beer, he wouldn't have went out and bought the beer because
Todd, if you're listening, I'm gonna be emailing you when we're done because I need to know what his intent was.
You know what? That's a great idea. Honestly, let's go to the source. We need to go to the source, because there's a lot of questions, and that's the only thing. Was this guy real? That's all you need to ask him.
Was it your real? All right, great. Well, one of us will ask. Okay. So we'll get back to you on that. But so then I just love how he kind of bullies him. That's a perfectly good Scarecrow. You got crows. They're eating your corn. We got to put that up. And he helps him bring it out, puts it up for him. And I'm like, wow.
So, and the only thing that would make sense based on what we're talking about, it's just because he found the Scarecrow and took him out. So I guess the minute you find a Scarecrow, he starts using his powers right away. I mean, that's if he really is dead, then that's what the Scarecrow did, right? Because now he's putting him up. So now he's using the Scarecrow for the first time. So he got bullied by his neighbor or his dead neighbor and not listened to his son.
Yeah.
So he's already starting.
Pissed.
Oh, he is pissed, and he's starting. And he's
it. Yeah.
Oh my god! And he still doesn't take it down.
No.
Oh, but okay. When he cuts himself later, I have his most ridiculous thing. But all right, all right.
But so we meet the daughter too. The daughter was in a ton right after this. So it's obviously Norman Reedus, people knew already because Boondock Saints and Walking Dead, I think, premiered right around this time. But the daughter was in a ton right after this. So whoever's the casting director was good. Pretty Little Liars. She was on Vampire Diaries a bunch. Aquarius. Do you remember that cool, funky, weird show Aquarius with what's his name from X-Files? Mulder?
No, you just named 3 shows that I never even saw. So.
Oh. Well, Pretty Little Liars is good. I like that. It was a teen thriller. It was fun. Me and my wife bonded over it.
Yeah. Why would I watch it if I'm not a teen and I'm not a girl and I'm going to watch Pretty Little Liars? You have the word pretty in there. I'm probably not going to watch it.
Pretty Woman.
So.
Oh man. So now when we find out that John had a drinking problem, which I could probably have guessed anyway by the way he acts, but when the wife is like, "Oh, where'd you get that beer?" And he says, "Oh, the new neighbor moved in. He brought me this beer." Oh, okay. And then he goes, sometimes I'm stressed. And she goes, you come to me if you're stressed. And I'm like, wow,
And
like this
and
guy
even
is doing nothing for
nothing.
her.
I was gonna say, yep. She really is like the perfect wife, to have. Like, even when he's feeling down about himself, he's like, you should not be with me. She goes, no, I should be with you, like, kind of thing. Like, she
Yeah.
really is like a good wife. Like, she's trying so hard, and he really is just pushing and like, but this is he is this the first time. The next morning is when he sees the crow for the first time, the dead crow.
Yeah. So then, so they get
Okay.
busy right now, and we get
Yep.
bow chicka bow wow. And then next morning he wakes up and he
Okay.
finds the dead crow.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. So you find a dead crow in front of your house. Do you
Mhm.
pick it up with your bare hands?
Nope. I use a rake,
It,
a shovel, or a
yeah,
bag.
I don't even want to look at it. If I have a dead crow, it skeeves me out. I didn't want to look at it. He's literally picking it up and inspecting it with his bare hands. Like, he's
Yeah.
not even like nothing. Like he didn't like yeah. Okay.
So there was a
It's so-
frozen dead squirrel that got ran over like 2 months
oh
ago,
my
and I was
gosh.
like, real quick, I went to the mailbox, and in my head, I'm just like, oh man, this thing's like gonna get all over the mailbox. Like it was in the road, and I'm like, let me grab it real quick. So I get it like a rake, and there's like not that many cars coming, but I'm trying to rake it, and it's really frozen solid to the thing, and I already started. The kids are on the front porch watching me, and I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
I got to finish this. I gotta go get a bag.
Wait, so it was like stiff, like it was frozen, like stiff, like
I didn't think it was when I started it. That's why I like had to finish it. I got a bag, picked it up, threw it in a thing real
oh,
quick.
where'd you put it in the garbage pail?
Yeah, it was gross, but yeah,
Oh my
the
gosh.
fact that he touches the dead crows, I'm like, this is really gross. And then the fact that he touches a lot of them
I was gonna
is he's
say
picking them up like it's like picking up
like
trash, right?
100%. How gross is that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like you're not afraid of any kind of disease coming from this thing? Like, clearly there's an issue having multiple
There's
crows
something
all over the place. Something going on, right? So, like, wouldn't you like really want to kind of like, all right, maybe I should not put on gloves? Like, even gloves,
Yeah.
I don't even want to touch it with gloves, let alone bare hands. Like you said, I would use a shovel and like dump it in like a bucket. No, he's like tossing it in like it's like tossing paper, like rolled up, piece of paper into the waste, the basket.
Yeah, and the fact that he's the no gloves, and then he's just like, let me burn it and inhale this like these like disease ridden
Oh,
crows.
can you imagine the smell of that?
Oh
Like,
my god,
oh my god, yeah, yeah,
gross.
it's gross. You're very gross.
And he
Well,
thinks he's like so cool with the burlap sack. He throws it into the fire, and you're like, oh
yep,
okay.
yeah, yeah. All right, that's gross. But
And
I
then we
mean,
meet the
well, let me.
banker. Oh yeah,
Do like farmers have garbage men that go out there? Like,
yeah, yeah. They probably have to bring their trash can to the main road, like a mile down.
oh, wasn't that like what? Oh, that was like Funny Farm, right? When the mailman that would like
Oh yeah,
drive by.
yeah.
All right.
Oh man. So yeah, so we
Okay.
meet Banker Chapman for the first time. And he's actually like a nice guy, right? Like like even when he's like slimy for the movie, he's not really being slimy. Like this guy owes a lot of money.
He does. He is slimy,
Well,
but
him
wait,
putting it up in the middle of the night is slimy. What I'm saying, like he's trying to be nice to John, like
yeah,
asking
but
like for payment or some kind
wait,
of idea,
is
and
he
there's nothing.
is he trying to be nice? Because he immediately, like, literally, it was what, a couple hours later, and he's already like ready to throw them out. Like, so I think he was just trying to make money on that. But first of all, didn't we see her? Wasn't she showering first, or is that the next day? When she was showering in the middle of the field?
Oh, that's not yet. That's not yet.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought
No,
that was.
that's in a little bit.
Okay, okay. But so yeah, so he was. It made it sound like he was trying to be his friend, and then literally 6 hours later, he's like, "Yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna do it. Let's let's put the sign up now and whatever. He's gonna lose his money anyway. He's gonna lose the farm. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I was all for Banker Chapman. I was like, just the fact that he was like he was a character to kind of like get this going, and it was so quick because the silliest thing about this movie is so
Be careful. Be careful with your words. the silliest thing. So be careful with your
Okay.
words, because
Well, I don't
I
know
think
if
that
this will be the top of the silliest
okay.
things, which
All
are
right.
they're enjoyable things. Like, but they're so silly. The fact that the Scarecrow is kind of like listening to this, like in a sense, right? So the Scarecrow's like, "Hey, he's taking the farm. I'm gonna help this guy out. Like, I'm gonna be the one that does it."
So okay, so then where is Norman Reedus at this time? Do we see him like
Oh, you're
listening?
right. This is that part right after the banker leaves.
Yeah.
When the banker leaves after they talk, is when he's picking up more dead crows. And
Yes.
then he sees
Yes.
the blonde naked in the
Correct.
sundress, pouring the water all over herself.
Yeah. Just randomly.
And then
Well,
I wrote, oh, looks like the girl from the opening scene, maybe. But now everything's working, right? The irrigation starts working, the water's going nuts. He runs to it, and he's like, "Ugh." Like he makes this really weird face. He sees the wife, and she's like, "Oh, it's working." And then he, like, yeah,
so how come they don't have that discussion? Like, why does it? First of all, why doesn't she say, "Hey, how'd you get it to work?" Because he did nothing to get it to work. Like, there's no explanation. Like, it's not like he said, "Oh yeah, I was messing around with the pipes and I did this." Like, he got it to work because the Scarecrow got it to work. So why didn't the wife say, "So what'd you do?" Let him
yeah,
explain it there. You know what? I did nothing. The Scarecrow just somehow started, like, so like, why is he like, they're not, first of all, they don't communicate at all throughout this movie. You know, she just wants to be like the housewife and he just wants to worry about the corn, but there's no communication with them.
yeah, yeah. And the fact that the way it starts is not like he was trying something. It was just he was picking up dead crows.
Yeah.
And it just started working. It's not like he tried something, right? Like really, the way the water was like coming out, you're like, "There's water. Was it leaking somewhere? Like what happened that the crow is the crow a master plumber?" And he was able to, you know what? You needed a Z joint over there. Oh,
I want to know how long, like, was it work? Like, did the Scarecrow was the one that shut it off in the first place?
could you imagine that? Or Richard Reel, and he's like,
That's
he's breaking the line, and he's like, "Oh, he'll want us."
because, like you said, like, so there had to be something that was stopping it from working. So did the Scarecrow just use magic and fix whatever is damaged, or just let water come through? Like, like, yeah, there's no explanation for that. We need Farmer. We gotta
Probably
talk to him.
probably the I I think he did it for him. I wrote down earlier in my notes. I forgot to mention it, but it was like I wrote, "Man, what a buddy comedy movie, like a comedy horror would be if like the same type of movie, but it's John and he's friends with the Scarecrow, and it was very comical Scarecrow. It just reminded me of almost like Unhappily Ever After,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
Al
yeah.
Bundy when he talked to the
Bob,
bunny, the bobcat.
Bobcat. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the bobcat bunny. But oh my god, dude.
Well, I just realized Todd Farmer is the writer of this,
Yeah. Oh.
and Norman Reedus is a farmer. Was that, is this like a based on a true story?
Could you imagine that? They're like, "All right, we need a movie. Oh, there's this guy Todd. Maybe it'd be about a farmer." And then boom.
There you go. See?
God. So we mentioned this already. The banker's back at night. He calls John stupid. And then he puts up a really terrible looking prop of a foreclosure sign. And it is again, the Scarecrow, like I guess if you grow up in a town that has cornfields and you're near them more, I don't know. They scare me no matter what I think. But people are always so casual about going in. Like he hears voices and he runs into the cornfield.
I said the same thing, and it's again every movie. Like every movie, somehow people end up in a cornfield. Like I've been in cornfields, just like like for cornfield maze or something like that during the day. I would never go at night. I mean, like especially
Yeah.
a random one. Like you're talking about, like not only that, how do you know what animals are out there? Like this is like you're in a corn maze. How do you get out if you don't know where you're going? Right?
I mean, thought of that. I've never thought about it in carrying an animal in there, but that would be the most frightening thing. I just think about Jurassic Park with like the velociraptors and some of those scenes.
Wait. So you're talking about, when I'm talking about animals in a corn maze, you're talking about dinosaurs?
No, I'm just
Like,
thinking that feeling of like, I just don't even want an animal. What animal would I seen a corn maze?
A coyote, a wolf, a bear. I mean, any more do we need?
They're
A
going through
rhinoceros?
that. There's bears just casually. You know what? I'm going to take the shortcut away from the woods.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: Why are farmers' corn in a maze?
Well, I don't think they usually do that. It gets cut into a full maze.
Why?
Why do they do the rows? So they can walk through it and pick everything.
Yeah, but why do they cut it into a maze? I've been to a farm that has a maze.
Oh no, they do that because
just
white people like us used to get lost in a maze on a Sunday and buy apple cider that's $10.
Okay, all right. I thought it was have the crows get lost in there, like they can't find their way to the
yeah. Where the hell did where do we come in? Oh man, dude. So now we get the wake up in the morning. We see the guy get hit by the truck. So it's not like he's killed by the sickle. I think we see the sickle or hear the sickle. And then he gets then we find out when he's getting questioned by the cop. He got hit by a truck and drugged for 3 hours.
How do you not notice that? Like,
yeah, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like, how are you not driving or hear a sound or stop within that time? Or how's the body still there? Wouldn't it be like almost disintegrated, grinding under a freaking like 4 or 8 ton truck?
I would think it would be like minced meat. It would be like shredded roast beef at that point. Your body as you're dragging for. Oh my gosh! First of all, I also thought the cop might have been some kind of evil thing.
Oh, really?
Well, again, I feel like this movie just didn't. You didn't know where, like, who was who and where, what going on.
Yeah.
Which I think.
Yeah, no. He was a little like questionable at the end.
Well, that's what I mean. A
little bit more, yeah.
And I think that's what makes so this movie should not have been that good. But I think because it kind of kept you guessing of really what's going on, and I think that added value, and I think that's part of a good writing is that it made you think like I said, I thought Norman Reedus at this one point was doing the killing.
Yeah, which he might have. I don't. We'll find out. Maybe he did do a few of them.
Okay, so you have 2 questions to ask. One is are the neighbors alive who gave him the beer, and 2, did Norman Reedus do any of the killing? Okay.
Because if he did, then he gets off scot-free. Oh, it was a Scarecrow. Everybody saw it. My son got it.
So then you also have the question number 3. What was Norman Reedus doing?
Why are you going to make him food?
I don't have to. I want to.
So this is right after we find out that he died.
I think they need her food.
I want to do something nice for him.
I mean, he's one of the richest men in town. I think they're going to be all right without us.
You could show a little more compassion.
Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry he's dead. At least he's not calling in the note on the farm anymore, will he?
See, I'm going to stop it real quick. That makes 0 sense, right? So at least he's not going to be calling about the note on the farm anymore. No, dude, the guy that works under him or in the same department is going to take you over as a client. It's not like that's not how it works.
He made it sound like it was only him and that's it. Like he owned his own company and he's the only one doing it. Yeah.
Everybody gets free houses now. Free houses. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, yeah.
Is there anything else more ridiculous? I think there's one more ridiculous. Oh. So how much younger is she supposed to be?
Oh. So that's the first time she witnessed some unusual way he was acting, right? So that's the beginning.
Yeah.
This is before he does what he does to her, right? This is almost coming up soon.
No, she did. No, he did it the day before.
Oh, so he already.
We just talked about that. Yeah. No, we're back in order. But yeah, no, it was right. The next when he did that, when the banker left, is when he saw the girl, and then the irrigation turned on.
All right, so he had to go up. Okay, all right, okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. But the fact that he was just ridiculous. He doesn't care about anything. She's like, yeah, let's make him some bread. And he goes, no, he'll be fine.
Yep.
It's like evil, man.
Yeah.
And then he starts finding money on the ground. And then he finds the guy's watch.
See, again, why didn't he bring that up to the like? If he immediately told his wife, "Look, I found this out here. Clearly, something was going on." Instead, he holds on to it. No, was he wearing it? No,
No,
'cause-
he's dumb later when he wears something.
okay.
Which I'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah,
Okay.
why is he like okay with it? He's like very excited about the money. Like the way I know they need the money,
Yeah.
but he's like really like going for it.
But again, why hide it? Like, like, so, like, again, is this the Scarecrow saying, hey, listen, like making him like, it just, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
And
Is
this
it-
when
now
so he has that cash. This is like why he goes to the feed place. So it's like he already has the money, which is like the thing that obviously he needs to pay, and then he wins anyway. So the Scarecrow, is the Scarecrow there? Or how is it, or is it just his lucky day?
See, I think the Scarecrow becomes part of him. It's a possession thing.
So it is like a Fight Club scenario. So I think
Yeah, but
he
so like I
bought the
said,
beer. He went into the liquor store, bought that beer.
that was before the Scarecrow was on him. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I do think he does the killing. I think he kills everybody until the end, and I think he doesn't know because when he's doing it, it's the Scarecrow taking over, possessing him, and yeah, that's what I think. And then later on, he's not possessing him anymore, and that's why it's a little different kind of battle.
Okay.
So now, but is this where he meets the neighbor again, and he says, "Oh, I can see who wears the pants in the family." Just like
soon. I think the next
okay.
part is like this is when he kind of gets like scared of it.
Yep.
So he hears like children sounds. And he's kind of like scared of being there. But yeah, no, this is when he sees Richard Really again with the watch. Remember the watch? It's like, you can pawn that, make something good on it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then what is the line that Norman says that's the biggest bullshit line of the movie? I tell my wife everything. No, you don't, dude. No,
and not
you
only,
don't.
And not only that, so I wrote a little conversation he has. He goes, "It knows that I know," because it's something she asked. She's not questioning why everything turned green, and he goes, "Wait a second, whatever." Okay, he goes, "I think I know what's happening," and she goes, "Tell me." He goes, "I haven't figured it out yet." So he thinks he knows what's happening, but he hasn't figured it out yet. It's contradicting.
Nothing. He doesn't know anything.
So that's contradicting each other. Okay.
Unreal, dude.
Okay. And this is where he is he taking it? This is where he wants to take down the Scarecrow, or
yeah. No, I think. Oh no, he doesn't cut his hand yet. Is that what we're talking about?
yeah, he doesn't cut his hand.
No,
yet.
not yet. No, so this is like again, like you mentioned, like Richard Reel's trying to like drive a wedge between him and his wife. He goes to the place. He buys he wins the feed.
Yeah, he wins the feed.
Yeah, but how about like John comes back, and he ends up, which is weird. Like you're on a farm, I would guess that they would know. Like any sound that comes, like you'd hear it a million mile away, especially like a dirt road that they're on. And she's like talking to this random guy, like a guy, I guess a guy from high school.
High school, yeah, yep.
And he's like peeping, and then he's like hearing the whole conversation. It's about like, oh, he acts like this. Probably told her the horrible things that he's done in the last few days. And the guy leaves, and I love when she's like, "Oh, you're here, John? Oh, you must have just missed him." And it's like, what is going on? She really believes he just got there and just missed this guy.
I think you were leading towards it. You're going to hear every car that pulls in, right? It's not, you're going to hear the dirt grinding, the rock spinning. Like, I don't think you can drive on like a country road like that and not hear someone pulling up. So she would have known when he pulled. Yeah.
I wrote, Scarecrow's going to kill this dweeb.
Well, he was trying hard. He definitely was trying hard. So,
yeah, the guy was like, what a weird scenario. Again, like they all know each other. And...
yeah, but see, that what doesn't make sense is she does push away his advances, but then she hugs him. Yeah. But then she hugs him when he's leaving.
That was really weird.
Like like it almost seemed like she was kind of like creeped out by the guy, inside when he did that, but she was fine with it 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe she
so
was finally realizing, like, man, I'm with this real dirtbag. And then the first thing he says, you know what? I think we should do some counseling. And she gets so happy. And then this is there's two things that are crazy. The fact that the next morning, this is when he's drinking, right?
Yep.
So this is when he wants to stare at the friggin' thing.
Well, he falls asleep out there.
Well, he falls asleep after drinking a few, but he just wants to stare out into the cornfield. And this is at the same time I go, his wife is turned on again just over the counseling. And I'm like, what he did the day before is insane. So what are 3 days that they had? Like intimate, passionate love, him like forcing her to do it. Then the next night, yeah, I think we should do some counseling. She's like, are you going to come to bed? And then he never comes to bed because he gets drunk, staring out into the cornfields.
He almost goes through like three or four different stages of that. You know, like you said, they're in it together. He forces him. He's alone, and then he goes by himself into the trailer. And again, you know, like yeah, but why is he staring into the cornfield? Like, what is he like? Is it at that point like is he Norman Reedus or is he the Scarecrow possessed by him?
I think he wants to see if something move.
See something going on.
Proof that the Scarecrow is doing something. How about that old montage when he's like kind of passed out, like in that trance, because it's like super foggy out. He has a cornfield. His dinner was corn in a bowl. Because I know they had no money, and this is like bad to laugh at. But he has like corn in a bowl, and then he takes a bite of it, and the corn has teeth.
His tooth fell out.
I thought the corn had teeth.
What do you get tired of corn? Like, I mean, like
I would hate
like,
corn.
You know, their digestive system must be really strong.
You can't get high on your own supply. You have to you have corn. The corn man hates corn. Potato man hates potatoes. That's I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, but at least with potatoes, you can, you know, you make French fries. You got baked potatoes. You could like at least change it up a little bit. Corn, you can't do much with it.
You can't.
It is what it is, you know. So, okay. So stupid. But so
that's why there's no corn. If you're a corn farmer, let us know at sequels only.
I don't.
Or
think
if you know
so.
a corn farmer.
Yeah, I would like someone to tell me a little bit more corn farming because
Only
I can't
corn.
imagine.
I woke up one day and said, "I'm going to dedicate my life to corn." That's it.
I don't see that happening. I think that's wrong. Because again,
so
there's seasons. So what are you doing on the off season?
I don't know.
Okay. Bless you.
Thank you. So now we get he looks up, so he kind of like wakes up from his trance. Oh no, I think it's after he spits his teeth on the ground. He sees like what looks like his son run into the woods. And that's when he says that really weird line, right? He says, he knows that I know.
That's what I said. It knows that I know.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I think I know what's happening. And she goes, tell me, I haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, no, I know. But I'm talking about in the cornfield. He says that. He goes, he knows
says
that
it
I know.
again?
And that's when he looks up and he sees
Okay.
himself on the cross.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
And then in the morning is when he wakes up.
I got
and he sees his wife and says, I made an appointment for the marriage. Oh, yeah, she sees him, remember?
Outside.
And she goes, I made an appointment for the marriage council. Remember, this is morning, crack of dawn. He's hungover. And I go, how did she schedule that? They talked about it at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
She said I scheduled something at, I guess online scheduling was a thing in 2008.
And even if she did, why is she even bother trying anymore? After what he did the night before, after like the police questioning about a murder, him drinking again.
No remorse.
No remorse about a murder. Right. That should have been a sign right there. He's drinking again. So like, where's like, it obviously seems like he's really out of control right now and he's not, you know, like, and like she's still trying. That shows you what kind of woman she is.
Yeah. And what happened overnight? The corn grew insanely. So it's like maybe when the Scarecrow kills, the corn grows. Is that a thing? Because I feel it's getting better and better and better after each kill. And this was after she finds out she gets to call it Tommy, the man she was sort of holding finger there. He was like trying to hold her fingers. Is dead, and he hung himself. And what happens in the field? John has to know Tommy this much that he knew that was his ring, right?
Of course. But how did he hang himself?
Put it on?
How did he hang himself? How did he hang himself?
Oh, well, usually a rope, and you put it higher.
No, I know that, but I'm saying he. Thanks, tough guy. But he clearly didn't do it on his own, right? I mean,
the Scarecrow must have done it.
So the Scarecrow, again, that's the one reveal we haven't showed yet. The Scarecrow. So, like, was he possessed, or did he get help from the Scarecrow?
It was like, we don't know who did it. We have no leads. What'd you find at the crime scene? It was a corn stalk made into a noose.
And a size 17 foot.
Yes.
And a mud
claw. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
See, that would be comical if this. I'm telling you, that would be a good horror movie. Even if it was like to be frightening, scary, like it could just be a legit scary movie of like something with the red eyes, a Scarecrow hopping off that friggin' thing would just scare the shit out of me. Like that image, that's what I was hoping to see, like him looking into the field, which I guess he sort of does later, but it's not as good. Like if you were to look out and you see it, and then you look out again and it's gone, and then you just hear sounds of something running there. But the fact that he picked up that friggin' ring and put it on, and then it was just like,
but why would you put someone else's ring on?
Yeah, and she was a great, honestly, Mary, the actress who played Mary, I forget her name, but I don't know what else she was in. She should have been in a lot if she isn't. She was so good in this scene. She was scared shitless, and you like felt it, knowing that like, oh my god, how does he have this ring? He was drinking last night. Tommy would never kill himself. He was in the best of mood when he left. Like,
wait, at this point, is Norman Reedus holding a weapon? Wasn't there a scene where he was holding like a tool or something, and he was arguing with her as he's holding it in his hand.
I think is that later?
Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I don't think it happened yet.
Oh, so maybe it's after
he goes like full crazy after he cut himself?
I think that's when he cut. After he cut. Okay, that's right. After he cuts himself.
Here it is. Oh my god, dude. So right after this, the cop is there questioning.
Yep.
Like right after he goes out there to take it down, and oh my god, dude, because he can't. Nothing works to get this thing down, and just the way the hammer snaps and it slices. Oh.
Okay, and that was probably the gnarliest hand slice I've ever seen, and he acted like it was a paper cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he really should. Like I think that the cop said he should be going to the hospital. Like he should have been at the hospital and got probably 100 stitches in that hand.
Yeah.
He's like wrapping it up and just acting like it's nothing. It was a deep, like I think there was bone sticking out. Like it was bad. Like, and he acted like it was nothing. Nothing. And how did the cop know about the murder so fast?
What do you mean, the suicide?
Yeah.
Oh, who alerted him? I don't know. Maybe the guy had like a neighbor or a grandma come over. Yeah, how did somebody come over that early?
Okay.
Who's just walking into somebody's house, or who's that person that's like he didn't answer?
Yeah,
I'm going over.
And
an early morning thing. Maybe it's the same person that owns the marriage counseling business that's awake to take appointments at 6 a.m. Like, yeah, you're right. That's a good one.
Yeah, but usually when he didn't answer, it's like, oh yeah, he hasn't answered for a week. Not like he hasn't answered overnight. And it's early in the morning. Maybe he's out. Like,
or the neighbors go, "What's that smell?" It's not just they don't answer a phone.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay.
Oh my god. But the wife covers for John when he comes in. Like, dude, when he's bleeding and he starts questioning him about it, and dude, oh my god, dude, that was rough.
Does she question him why he's bleeding so bad? Like, does she ask like what happened?
Well, Oh, well, he did say he was going to take that damn scarecrow down.
Okay, so he's walking in with like a sickle or something. He has something in his hand that's a weapon,
He has that
a
behind his
tool.
back, right? Because that's
Right.
when he sees the little girl in the woods, and he
Yes,
in
correct.
the cornfields and talk to her, and she says,
It's a sickle.
"Make sure
I
you
think.
protect your family." Yeah,
Yes.
and he has the sickle.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is a scene where he's kind of arguing with his wife, but he's holding it in his hand. She's already like worried about him.
Oh, he's trying to kill them. Yeah, he's trying to.
No, he wasn't trying to kill. No, he wasn't.
No, yes, dude. This is when they're hiding in the house, isn't it?
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to. He wasn't trying to kill his family at that point. He didn't try to kill his family.
That's what they thought. They were locking all the windows and hopping
hold on.
out and say, "Hey, let's
That's
go to the
what
car."
they thought because there's too many questions about the two people that got killed. He's got the jewelry. He wasn't trying to because he was trying to reason with her, but he's reasoning with her while he's like waving the weapon in his hand as you could see fear on their face. Like, how about put it down and then talk to them? Why
and
was he holding
for a
out?
beer? He stops for a beer
he
while
does.
he's looking for him.
Yeah. I don't think he was
Scary.
trying to kill them, but they thought he was.
What do you mean? You're telling me he knew you think that he knew that was Tommy's ring? Why would he throw it on?
Well, I don't because he was possessed at that point. But when he's at the house, he's not trying to kill them. I don't think.
So he's not possessed of the house, but only when he had the ring on. Come on.
I don't know. There's too many questions. I don't know.
Like, this is a traumatic day for her, right? And no, he didn't. Did he chase her? No, they didn't chase her yet. That's later. That's like in the next scene. Because what I have written down next to my notes is when he's burning the scarecrow.
Yep.
And she comes home and she goes, "Oh, thanks for going to marriage counseling." It was at 7:00. And it was like, whoa. Like, again, I know your marriage is important, but this guy just died and you want to have marriage counseling that night?
The day after. I guess it's the day after. Like
the night. Like that night.
And my guess is if like marriage counseling or any kind of like counseling, you can't get an appointment like right away. Like you have to wait like probably a couple of weeks. Like it's they're so booked up.
Hours.
As hours. Like he just happened to be available. Well, it's a small town. So he probably is like, wow, it's been a year since I have my last counseling. Thank goodness someone called. Because there's probably like 20 people in town. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, we totally jumped that scene. Yeah, that's like later when he's like chasing them in the house. But I don't know. I'm like mixing. So I guess when you watch a movie like 2 weeks later. But
well, I think, and again, honestly, like a lot of the scenes are very similar in this movie. And I think that's also what it is. It's just like, him in the cornfield, him at home, someone's dying. Him in the cornfield, him at home. And like, so it's a lot. I think it's a lot of like overlapping that, where the confusion is.
And then this is when we first meet Jude's. So this is like after the marriage counseling thing. He goes for a walk in the woods or in the cornfields. And then he meets Jude's wife, Hottie Miranda, who dumped herself on water all over herself earlier. And she wants to like heal his wounds. And then I'm like, where's Jude right now? Like, where is this guy? Like, it's like dark out. Like, why is he not there? Then they start flirting. And then she like starts sucking on his finger. And I'm like, what is going on?
Well, that's part of the healing process for his hand.
Dude, and then she said a line that you rarely hear in movies. She like says like, "Oh, that's just made me wet." I'm like, why are we hearing this in this like horror movie? Like, why are we getting gross? And then they start going for it.
So you're telling me this entire conversation was made up in his head?
That has to be the only explanation.
That's what you're saying. No, I just think I thought, first of all, I thought they were like part of the possession, like either the Scarecrow was possessing them. They were part of like the messengers, like they were messengers of the Scarecrow. I mean, it is called messengers. So
there are the messengers. Yeah, they are, and his family had it.
Right. So they're alive. How did he get the book?
Wait, the hidden book in the floor of the trailer?
He just happened to find that?
Yeah. With the pictures and the drawings.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, dude. But yeah. So they hook up. John stays the night. And then I love when he's like going back and the Scarecrow's back up. So he was able to get it down after he cut his hand, like it was down. So maybe Richard Reel did it for him, or the Scarecrow climbed himself up and hammered
But
himself in.
okay, okay. So the Scarecrow and the Scarecrow, two different things.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, so he didn't climb up and hammer himself. You're telling me the Scarecrow walked out there and hammered the other Scarecrow to the I want to see that scene. I want to see the Scarecrow with a hammer and nails and hammering. So is the Scarecrow like a voodoo doll?
You're saying like if you dress the Scarecrow up
I'm
like someone?
Because what's the connection of the Scarecrow to the Scarecrow? Right? I mean, the more we talk about this, there's questions that again, we definitely need answers. You know what? I'm gonna message him. All right. And I'm gonna find
You
out.
talk to him.
I will.
So then I love when he gets back in the morning and the wife is like super pissed off. And she says, was it worth it to put the daughter, I'm sorry. Was it worth it to put your precious cornfield before your family?
Well, first she goes, was it worth it? So I was thinking like, had they know about the affair or like what he did? Because
yeah, you're right. The pause.
Yeah, it was a pause. So it made it look like they knew somehow, which does that even come up at all? I don't think it comes up at all.
No.
So like they made it look like it's almost to be blackmailing him or something, they clearly set that up with Norman. If they are alive, they set that up and it doesn't come back at all what he did.
Yeah. So maybe Jude was just like, have sex with him.
Maybe they're
Why
swingers.
not?
Maybe they're swingers.
Yeah.
But they alluded to that because the way the daughter said that literally said like, was it worth it?
Yeah.
And he goes, what was worth it? And she goes, putting your farm in front, like, so,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just realized they never addressed it the rest of the movie. They just had to throw that scene in there just for fun, but like it really had nothing to do with the story. Okay.
That is true, but you did get this great line when Jude comes over with the sickle in his hand, which makes it seem like he's a Scarecrow. And he says, "Oh, Miranda said you stopped by." And then in seconds, John he's convinced to leave his family again.
Yeah.
And then he goes back there, and then we find out like she has black magic. She has a book that she got from her dad that was a dead engine. They said engine.
Yeah. And again, when he came back and said, he almost looked angry. Like he knew he slept with his wife. But then he brings her in there and they have this whole conversation about black magic.
Yeah. He's fine with it.
Black magic uses voodoo and voodoo dolls. So, is the Scarecrow a voodoo doll?
Maybe. Whatever outfit you change every 90 days, you got to switch it. Okay. Be a good like infomercial product. Scarecrow clothing. Rotate it. But I love Richard Reel when he's like begging to Norman, let the Scarecrow help you. And in this one, he explains his family, like the family connection at this point.
Yep.
So the cop, and then now the cop finally comes there and was like, oh, you know what? This is really fishy. He was at your place. The banker was here. Let's talk about this.
And again, this is where, how's the cop there again? He's always there at the right moment, right after something happens. And that's where I'm thinking like, all right, this cop is not what he seems to be. Because he somehow knows about everything. He's always there right after something happens. Immediately.
Maybe he's doing it all.
I don't know.
You're going to find out. We'll ask Todd. Get to the bottom of it. But yeah, so now John's trying to explain to the cop like this insane scenario. And then this is where they go back to, this is where I found it. It's like this large secret passageway. And then friggin' Jude sneaks up and he knocks the cop out.
But how do you do that if he's dead?
I wrote, Well, I think he just scared them because remember he bumped into the wall and books fell on him and knocked him out. But then I wrote, "It is revealed they don't exist."
They're
And
but they show
this is when he follows his wife. This is when he grabs the weapon.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Insane. They're hiding in the bedroom, and the wife's like, "Oh, here, the keys are in the car." And then it's like getting ready to look through the peephole. And in my head, I'm like,
"Oh,
dude,
I know."
If she looks in the peephole and she gets killed, that would be the most shocking death I've ever seen in my life. Like I thought that.
Well, of course that you're like I'm waiting for her to get something stabbed in the eye, like you knew, like because they kept and he literally she's like they're hiding. First of all, again, you see this in a lot of movies. You hide in the bedroom. You wait for you're away from the killer. Wouldn't you wait there like a long time? Like I think it was like seconds when she's like, all right, maybe he's gone. Like she ran in there,
let's go.
Let's go. Like you wait, like let like you're gonna hear him leave, or like even if he's not, like let's just stay there. Let's like regroup. Let's figure out a plan. No, let's see if he's still there. And it happens all the time. Like they don't wait long when you're hiding.
No patience.
No patience.
Yeah, and then they get shot right away. Then the other guy turns around for, hey, let me look. I forgot my keys. And
yeah.
Oh my god, dude! But yeah, so they all start running away. They head through the cornfield, which is ridiculous. But the son, he doesn't realize even at this point that his dad's like crazy. He like still sees the good in him. And then do we see Jude and Miranda die? I feel like we just see them on the ground at this point.
Part of me wants to say that we see them get killed. But why would you see them on the ground if they weren't alive? What's the point of showing that scene?
And it's confusing. The line that he says to John is kind of stupid because he was trying to convince John to give in to the Scarecrow and be possessed, but now it's like he is dead a second time and it doesn't matter. He goes, "Don't try to save your family. I tried." It's
okay,
like, what?
Why? Unless that's hit like what he did in the past, then I don't know. Like it to me again, to see them dead there's no reason to see that.
Yeah, no, there isn't. But it's just weird for them never to talk to the wife.
I know,
and the wife saw it in their direction and just never acknowledged. Like, oh, we have a new neighbor. Like she wasn't like, oh, that makes sense. We have a neighbor right there. Is it their neighbor, dude? It's a trailer in your cornfield.
When you first meet him and the way he goes, yeah, we're your new neighbors. Like you're thinking, like, yeah. When I saw him in the corner, I was like, first of all, what does he do for a living? Like, like if he's the new, like, what is he doing? And that's their house. And it was a small trailer. It wasn't like one of those big trailers. It was a small little, Okay.
Can you imagine like that girl bringing him to Thanksgiving dinner?
Mom, I want you to meet my new boyfriend.
The guy from the old folks home snuck out again. Oh no, this is my boyfriend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He reminded me of what's his name? Wilford Brimley.
He kind of has those vibes. Yeah. So Michael is all the way back into the barn, and then we see the giant Scarecrow. And it makes a sound.
I was not expecting that at all. I really wasn't. Were you up to this point, were you expecting to see the Scarecrow walking around?
No, the only time I mentioned before, the only time I thought that I was going to see it move was when he was staring at the cornfield. I thought we were going to see it like jump off or something. That's the only thing I thought. I was not expecting something that big to move like that.
Well,
and again, it's so hard to move that. As you could see, at some points, it was like, all right, this thing's moving really slow.
And so what's the point? Like, so why is it a giant Scarecrow and not the little thing? And where was he hiding this whole time?
The Scarecrow? It was just sitting against the wall because he took it down.
That's not the same Scarecrow that was hanging. I'm saying the giant Scarecrow.
The one that we see chasing them?
Yeah.
Is a different one?
Wait, you're saying that the one that's climbing the ladder and like chasing him you think it's the same one that he was hanging up?
Yeah.
This The Scarecrow that he was hanging up wasn't that big. It's the Scarecrow that he was hanging up was smaller than him. This was a monster.
Okay, but I think it turned into it because it's the same one. Because at
It's
the
not.
end, the girl goes, "Oh, time to go back," and she drags it back in the hole that it came up.
She drags the voodoo doll of the Scarecrow. There's no way that massive, and it was a massive Scarecrow.
It
was the same one that the little girl's dragging. Look, so you're telling me that Scarecrow grew legs and arms all the way up, and then just shrunk back down to a doll?
I don't know. I would think so. That'd be weird to have two of them, and we only
No.
see one at the end.
He does his bidding through the doll. All right, we're gonna ask Farmer this.
You're gonna ask
Okay.
that one too.
Okay.
But yeah, the thing doesn't move that fast. It's super ugly, man.
Oh.
And
Well, wait, are you surprised at that? I mean, the Scarecrow itself was ugly. Like,
yeah. But just the fact how it doesn't move. Like it is scary. Like when just thinking of the kid, this thing that he was already scared of since the first time he saw it. He's like doing the old high behind the tractor. He looks over, doesn't see it, that it's on the other side. And
but you know what though? But I do like that fact that it does move slow, because you think about it, Scarecrow doesn't have feet, whatever. Like it's like, and it's big like that. Like it's going to be maybe sluggish. It's not going to run so like they made it like, and it's almost creepier that way because the way it moved, it was like creeping along, even when they were hiding, So yeah.
I did like how dumb the cop was. Like, how do you not hear this giant thing? Like he finally wakes up from like his being knocked out.
Yep.
And he doesn't like notice this giant thing like right next to him.
Well, the fact that he was
massive.
The fact that he was knocked out in the first place, it was like a push, and he was knocked out. Like,
yeah,
he shouldn't have been knocked out. He should have maybe a bump, but he shouldn't have been knocked out. Okay.
But the sister, dude, when the sister sees the cop dead and no one sees the Scarecrow,
yeah,
like because it's not moving, she just sees like the blood on the guy. That was wild.
Okay, so everybody sees the Scarecrow at this point. So everybody in the family sees the Scarecrow.
Yeah, it's all moving. Yeah, it's moving in front of them right now.
So, but the dead people were not real. The neighbors weren't real, but the Scarecrow. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah,
they were the messengers of the Scarecrow.
They were the messengers. Messengers can't be dead.
Okay. Well, I have my 4 questions I need to ask Farmer, and we'll discuss them afterwards. All right,
great. So now at this part is when the boy's getting in the tractor. The wife has like an axe. She's walking around with an axe in her hand, but dude, the fact that giant Scarecrow, it was like aerator spikes. What was on the bottom of that? And the thing was done. It couldn't move after getting run over. Like a thing that is like filled with like some evil spirit to be able to bring like obviously like sticks and twigs and things to life. A tractor running over is going to end the movie?
Well, let me ask you this. At this point, I would say it's safe to say that they really shouldn't be farmers anymore. They shouldn't live there anymore after what they're seeing,
move.
Right?
I hope so.
So why not just light them on fire? Wouldn't that be the best way to kill them?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
At least do it and move out anyway. Like I would be done with
farming. That's what I'm saying. Right. So burn it down. Okay. But yeah,
especially now that he knows what happens, and he knows what happens to Richard Reel. Again, we'll find out the facts on what Richard Reel and Miranda are.
Yep.
But like just thinking about the fact that he could have that for his family, like he could be Richard Reel because of what happened. But oh man.
Okay.
So that was
well, you know how they kill him at the end? They were pulling the straw out to kill him. They were pulling straw. They were pulling the straw out of the Scarecrow at the end of the movie.
Did I missed that? The last thing that I remember
I
was
wrote down kid on tractor.
Yeah.
Right. And when he's stuck under the aerator, they were all pulling the straw out of the Scarecrow.
Oh, dude, that's ridiculous. I missed that. No, no. I wrote was like they ran over something undead and now it's dead. Question.
So while he was stuck, they were pulling all the straw out. and then they
that's-
walk out of the barn like nothing ever happened. Like they were
That's
like
weak.
you just saw a monster scarecrow walking around, and they like no one was like freaking out, crying, screaming, like running out. Like they were just walking out like they just like what they just did. They just killed the scarecrow by pulling straw out, and everything's okay now. And then you see a little girl dragging, which I'm going to ask him, is that her father?
daughter. That's his. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so. I think so. But yeah, I
Okay.
didn't get the straw part. I missed that. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
That's even crazier. And I even before you even said that, I wrote "wow" at the end. Like, wow, what a crazy 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was Messengers 2, The Scarecrow. Jamie, would you recommend someone to see this movie that somehow we definitely talked over the runtime?
Yeah.
I think it was
You know,
definitely short.
I'm gonna say it's a tough call for me, because like I said, I didn't hate it, and I hate a lot of movies. I don't think it was terrible. I just think there's a lot of questions with this movie. Clearly, you and I are on different pages with a lot of it. So, I think, especially after listening to this review, I think if you haven't seen it, give us your own opinion and definitely watch it. And
yeah, it's free
maybe
on
you'll
our,
have
the best Tubi. It's on
Yeah.
Tubi, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a terrible movie. It really isn't, and there are twists in this movie, and just like you don't know what direction they're going in. So, no, I think, you know what? If you like horror movies and something different, this is definitely different. And Norman Reedus, I think, is good, and the wife did a great job. So,
Yeah, no. Again, it was just there was so many weird parts in this movie, but no, it was enjoyable. I wouldn't watch it again because obviously there are some like twists and turns to it.
correct.
So,
correct.
like some movies, like I could, but if it's so hard, like
Yeah, I know.
to watch it when you already know what's going to happen at the end. But wow. So I'm
Yeah.
happy we finally got that. I've been thinking about this movie for so long, and I'm happy we finally got that one. So usually me and Jamie are talking about like what the next movie's going to be, but we haven't discussed it. But
Oh,
I'm giving you a hall pass.
A what?
A what?
Oh.
A what? A hall pass.
okay.
all right, so you know what? It's that time of year, and I know we only have one under our belt, so why not put two under our belts? Because we almost did cover this one, but the two people we couldn't connect with, so why not? Todd wrote a movie about Jason going to space. So how about a movie where the Leprechaun goes to space?
Oh my gosh.
Not gonna play the whole trailer, but yeah. This is
What the hell
was that? We'll be covering next. A movie that has a killer appear or come back to life in the most ridiculous way.
Good evening.
He's back.
Yes, he is back. And
Is it
we're
Warwick
gonna be
Davis?
covering him. It's Warwick
Warwick-
Davis, yep. So he does the Lep in the Hood and then Back to the Hood, and then he's done with the franchise. But I thought it'd be good for St. Patty's Day. This is our kind of, oh my God, dude, this is like when we started the podcast. Oh my God. So this is our crazy, like, this time of year being an accountant. Like, I totally forgot about it. Wow, this would be 6 years ago that we started this shindig. So why not cover a Warwick
Wow.
Davis Leprechaun 4, Lep in Space? So that'll be up next. And then after that, man, we have so many amazing interviews and sequels attached to them that are going to cover us that are already recorded in the can, like 3 months out. So it's super exciting times for us. Some people that we've been wanting to talk to for a very long time. So yeah, so your homework, Leprechaun in Space, and then it'll be perfect because when the review comes out next Friday, be able to watch it while you're enjoying some green beer, celebrating the festivities. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.